Alrighty, so let's run some numbers. Now, when it comes to running numbers, and if you're looking for positive cash flowing properties, there's a calculation called gross yield that I personally use to very quickly analyze if a property is going to give me a positive cash flow or a negative cash flow. And just to explain what it is very quickly. So the gross yield, we'll take the annual gross rental income before deductions. We're going to divide it by either the asking price or what I'm going to pay for the property, assuming there's no renovation. I'm going to divide them by the 2, and I'm then going to times it by 100 to get a percentage. That percentage is going to indicate whether the property is going to give me a positive or negative cash flow. So I've got property 24 up here right now, and I'm just going to choose, I'll choose Santon because it comes up. Now, property type, I want to tick. In fact, I'll use an apartment or a flat. Min price, max price, bedroom. Let's choose I'll keep it simple. I'll choose a 1-bedroom in Santon. Bathrooms, that's fine. Floor size. I won't tick any of these filters over here. And let's click search and see what comes up. So let's have a look. First of all, wow, I can see there's 5,000 1-bed flats for sale. There's a big indication there, which I'll talk about in another video. I'm going to go over here and just choose, not by default, low to high. I don't want to go into too much detail now. Let's just choose a property. There's Bryanston, there's Buccleuch. Let's just choose one here, Bryanston, 499,000. So I'm going to write here, there's a property, it's on the market for 499,000, and that's a 1-bedroom apartment in Bryanston. For Bryanston Santon, 1-bedroom. I'm just seeing if anything if anything sticks out of me here. No, let's keep it simple. So I know the asking price is 499. Let me now go to the filter over here. Just go back one step, scroll back to the top, and I'm going to go change it from for sale to rent. And I want to keep all the filters the same. And let's see what's renting. Now, ideally, I want to do like for like. I can see our Bryanston, 1,500 Rand per day. That's indication that this investor is doing short-term accommodation. That's not a good like for like. So one Bramley North, Beverly, Bryanston. He has a Bryanston property, 1-bed, high level, cool. So I can rent this for 4,450. 4,450 per month. So the gross yield calculation, like I said to you, is we're going to take the annual rent. So I'm going to go 4,450 times by 12. So I'll get my calculator out. And I'm going to go 4,450 times by 12 gives me 53,400 divided by the 499. So times 53,400 divided by 499,000. 499, give me a sec, 499,000. Times that by 100, I get 10%. So divide that by 499,000. My answer is a 10% gross yield on this property. What does that mean? So what that means is, what I found throughout South Africa is, when I quickly work this out, now I'll explain how you'll work with agents, but 10% is below the 15 to 18% range. All that is an indication to me, anything below 15%, I've never seen a positive cash flowing property. What do I mean? Well, it's 10%, right? So if I had to bond the property if I bought it for, call it the 500,000, 499,000, for 500,000 Rand, and I've got to pay my bond, I've got to pay my levies, I've got to pay my rates and taxes. What about voids? What about letting agency costs? Once you take all your costs into consideration, the property is going to be a negative cash flow. Just high level, we said here that the rent will be 4,450. If I bonded it at 100% at around the 500,000 Rand mark, my bond's going to be a rough, call it plus minus 5,000 Rand a month, depending on the interest rates I get, just off the top of my head. But the rent's only 4,450. It's already negative cash flowing. So if I was a buy-to-let investor looking for positive cash flowing properties, I would either need to buy this property at a big discount, or perhaps convert this to a different strategy like Airbnb. So if you want to work out the gross yield, I'll repeat myself again. When the agent calls you and they say, I have a property that's for sale. Let's use another example. And they say to you, the property's on the market for $1 million, you can have $1 million. The first question you say is, Mr. Agent, look, I'm a property investor. I want to rent it out. What kind of rent can I get? And they say to you, oh no, it's a very, very good rate. You'll get 11,000 Rand a month. First thing you do on the calculator is you go, cool, 11,000 Rand times by 12 equals 132 divided by the million. It's a 13% yield, a bit better, but it's below 15%. So I know 99.9% that the property is going to be a negative cash flow, which means I've got to buy that property below market value. So when you get used to this, the gross yield calculation as it relates to bonded properties in the residential market, within 30 seconds, you'll know if it's a positive or negative cash flow. Now, if it's a negative cash flow, if it's below the 15% mark, not saying that a 16% gross yield is going to give you a positive, because what kills most deals in South Africa when it comes to complexes and townhouses are the bloody levies. Some of them are ridiculous, and that's what kills the cash flow. Okay, so gross yield, very quick calculation to work out. Is it a positive or negative? And I'll share in some other videos. If it is negative, how do we buy below market value, or how do you change strategy to make it positive?